What's up, guys? Brian back from the PT channel here to talk about The Walking Dead when the show equals the comic and the comic equals the show. Now, they don't always do the same thing from the comic and the show, but spoilers ahead. If you have not kept up to date with the show and the comic and everything there too, spoilers ahead. So, like I said, we're going to talk about the show and the comic and how they intertwine things and they change some things, but how they are the similar here too. And that's why I think they're going to stick to the finale in season 7 to be just like the comic. So, basically, here's the counterparts of the actors versus the comic book pictures. I think they do a pretty good job representing them. They changed a couple things in there, but Tyrese and Daryl here on the show, it was Tyrese and Rick, of course, in the comic, because there is no Daryl in the comic. Spencer going across the rope in there was a good scene. I think they replicated it pretty well. You know, changed a couple characters, but they keep the same formula. There is the Saviors meeting in the street. They had a megaphone or something there too, but they didn't have weapons in there. You had Rick pointing his gun at Carter here too. So it's pretty spot on, right? You know, you can see the wording and the verbiage there too. The script is the comic. You see the meat ponchos here in episodes 8 and 9 of season 6. You had Jesse and Sam getting killed. So again, the script is the comic, so they're going to stick to that basic line to change a couple things for the show, what can be done, what cannot be done. They actually pulled this off with the eye. Some thought they might not be able to do it, but they did. They can just put a patch over it, see the wrap on there, so they don't have to keep doing it. But they did good CGI effects and the molds of everything of Chandler Riggs, and I thought they did great. The wording and the verbiage and the line is pretty spot on with the comics there too as well, especially in season 6 and later on in there too. They did a lot of similar things. They did here at the hilltop with the guy with the spear, you know, going into the hilltop. I thought the hilltop was represented very well with how they drew it in the comic and how they actually replicated it in the show. You see there, the comic, the show replicates pretty good with Carl, Negan, and the hilltop. I thought it was a very good rendition of that as well. The hilltop was pretty much spot on from the comic there too, with Gregory and the actual house there too. I thought that was pretty awesome. Ethan stabbing Gregory right in the gut, you know, there you go. They're doing similar plots. They're not going to change things too drastically. They might edit things that they wanted to do in the comic, but they had to change it for the comic there too. And Rick says, what? You know, bloody Rick. Gregory in bed trying to make a deal with Maggie on there. They're sticking the major plot lines for it too. Abraham breaks up with the Rosita, just kind of like he did in the comic as well. Big things will happen with Rosita going forward if they stick to it. Eugene and Abraham talking down there, but right there is where Abraham dies, and they changed that. Abraham's still alive in the comic, or still alive in the show, not in the comic. Got Dwight and Eugene there outside of there, but he bites him in the junk like there. It's kept that scene, kept it again, so it's kind of cool. But you know, the big thing is that Abraham died in the comic and is still alive on the show. It's a big difference, which I think they hopefully keep him around. Dwight running with his piece bit off there. Now here's the biggest things that they kept is the major finale on there too. I'm not going to go through all this. You can slow it down or pause it or whatever, but you know, you see the similarities of the comic and the show, and it's pretty spot on. The lines minus the cursing, of course, the show and the comic and the line and the angles and how they shot it and how they did there. The script, they pretty much stayed on task with the script and the angles and how they shot it and the pointing. I mean, there was more in the group. In the comic, there was less people in the group. Heath's in there, he's not in the show, and Sasha and whatever, and Daryl, of course, because he's not in the comic. But this was a major point. They kept this angle, they showed it just like that. That's pretty much spot on how they did it perfectly. So my thought is, why wouldn't they kind of keep it in the finale to kill the same character on there too? Now, they could change it. It could be Abraham. There's a big case for that. He's taking it like a champ. Boom, hits him just like that. Hits Glenn while he says it, you know? And the audio is kind of like this. Maggie, people screaming, people crying, whatever there, too. So, I don't know. It's just our thoughts that the comic equals the show, and there's some proof that it does. They do stick with it on there, too. So, think what you want. Do what you want. Post your comments below, guys. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We appreciate it for taking the time to watch it. Hopefully, we'll see. Can't wait for October, Season 7 of The Walking Dead. And thanks, guys.